Well, good morning everybody and welcome back to Apple Cottage. And I am Sandy with Suburban Homesteader Wyoming, Arizona. This morning, I'm turning this little pond into a bog. And I'm doing it for a couple reasons. One of my main problems I have is a lot of leaves from all the trees that are surrounding it fall into and the water gets very murky and yucky and I don't like it. And though I have a solar fountain to circulate the air, I just really haven't been happy with it over the last few years since the trees have gotten so much bigger. The other reason is you can see that the raspberries are starting to grow. We'll start having raspberries at probably the end of June, and it really engulfs the pond, so it has a lot of shade. And I love the idea of a bog. Now, you know, I try to never use peat. Peat moss comes from a bog and it's not renewable. But I am using peat today, and I'm justifying it by making my own bog. So my mixture today is peat moss, sphagnum moss, and sand. And so this morning I'm going to do that mixture up, put it in there. I'm going to let it sit there for a while and just really soak up all the water that I give it. And then later on I'll plant the plants, and I'll show you that too. So I'm doing a mixture of peat moss, sphagnum moss, and sand. And I'm just going to mix it up in the wheelbarrow so that I can have a very boggy mixture. Now that's a big wheelbarrow full, but I may need more, so I do have more ingredients. So Joe's watering for me, and we're gonna just soak that top part, and because the sphagnum moss and the peat moss will just soak up so much water, and then we can stir it around with the hoe a little bit more. But as you can see, he's putting it on and it's just seeping right down. You're not even seeing where it's going to. So we'll do a little bit more water, and then it will sit for most of the day, and then I'll plant the plants in there. So here are the plants I'm going to plant in the bog. We always call this papyrus, but it's actually called Graceful Grasses Prince Tut. This next one is a butterfly weed. Horsetail. These grow naturally across the Midwest by creeks. We used to pull them apart and pop them back together and make necklaces out of them. This is a cardinal flower. And this big one, elephant ear, taro. This will not survive our winters. This one will not survive our winters, but the other three will. So I'll have to lift these up, give them to somebody before we go to Arizona. This is a purple water iris that I have, and I just keep it really wet. So I'm going to dig part of that to go into the bog also. Well, here I have all of it planted, and I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Now, over the next few days, I will watch it very carefully, and I will have to add more water. The sphagnum moss, the peat moss will soak up so much moisture. And it will literally lift the plants up higher into the pond liner. And I think the combination and the textures of the different plants will make it very interesting. And the taro, the elephant ear, will grow extremely large. and I think it will just drape over the front, and I will be really, really happy with it. The raspberries will fill in, so it will continue to get a lot of shade, but I'm happy with it. If you haven't given me a thumbs up, you haven't liked the video, please do that right now. Always subscribe, and of course share with the world. Share it on Facebook, share it on any social media you want. And I will see you next time.